But guess what? I'm back on the highlighter train. Look at that. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you all of my thoughts on my very first Hourglass Custom Quad. So I believe that I'm in a really good position to give you my honest opinion on this because I am not an Hourglass stan. I do not purchase every single one of their ambient lighting palettes. I don't have any loyalty towards the brand. I don't feel the need to purchase everything that they release. However, I was very, very intrigued this time round with the custom quads. Now, as of today of filming, these are not available on the website. However, I'm sure that they will reappear soon. If not now, then later in the year. So today I'm going to be telling you all about my experience with this. Do I think it's worth it to custom your own quad? And do I think Hourglass palettes are worth it in general? So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. I think that one of the biggest stresses when it comes to these ambient lighting palettes is where they are available. These were released in the US first, so if you lived there, you could customize your palette straight away. I live in Europe, I live in Ireland. We had to wait a few days. Apparently there were some technical difficulties. Finally got the chance to customize the quad, and then they disappeared from the website. And it's worth noting that there are still some places that never got the chance to customize their own palette. So the UK, where I am from, they never got the opportunity to have a custom palette, which is very frustrating. But anyway, as I said, I'm not a collector of Hourglass palettes at all. I have one palette, which is this one. I purchased this in 2024. As you can see, very gently used. Here's the thing, I don't love powder products, to be quite honest with you, but I felt the need at the time to purchase my first palette. So I'm trying not to blind you. This is the case. So it's not as pretty as the usual 6-pan ambient lighting palette, but still absolutely beautiful. So if you know nothing about Hourglass palettes, they usually come with a finishing powder or two, blushes, a highlighter and bronzers. Every single palette is different. Now you could have your quad customized to have 4 blushes, 4 bronzers, or one of each like I've had. Now I really did take my time to study the shades, and can I just point you in the direction of an absolutely amazing video on the shades. Morgan Turner has a video where she breaks down all of the shades. It's absolutely incredible, and I'm going to link that video down below for future reference. You might not be able to get a quad now, but in the future I'm sure they will be back. I found that video invaluable, so I'm going to link that video down below. So here's what I have in my palette. I have a finishing powder which is called Diffused Light. This is found in the Ghost palette, and this is actually a permanent shade, so you can buy it individually. Now these are very, very hard to swatch. I'll do my best. So again, that is Diffused Light. Now for blush, I chose Rose Fusion, which is from the Jellyfish palette, which is a cool mauve. Now it obviously goes without saying that I chose shades that I didn't have in my Evil Eye palette. So that is Rose Fusion. The bronzer that I went for was Eternal Bronze Light, which is found in the Ghost palette. And this is described as a warm matte bronze. You can see how really soft these shades are. And for the strobe powder, which is basically the highlighter, I chose Celestial Strobe Light, which is described as a golden champagne, which is from the Leopard palette or the Butterfly palette. Okay, so I am going to show you a little comparison of the shades next to the shades from the Evil Eye palette, because they were also available to put in a custom palette. And honestly, I would recommend any of these. They are all absolutely beautiful. I think if you are going for a custom palette, is to go for shades that you obviously don't already have. So we're just going to have a play around with this palette today, and I'm just going to demo it on the face for you. So we are going to kick off with the bronzer, and you can see there now that I've swatched it, it's kind of losing a little bit of its marble effect, which is a little shame, but you know, the palettes can't stay pretty forever. But to put my bronzer on, I'm actually going to use some of my favorite brushes at the moment, which are from Morphe. This is the M162 powder brush. So I'm just going to gently tap into it. These are extremely buildable formulas. I don't find that, I really don't think you could mess them up, to be quite honest with you. So this palette cost me €83 for these four, and each pan has 1.4 grams of product. Now, I know people had commented saying that that is really not a lot, but these will last you forever. They literally last forever. I mean, how many people do you find panning their Hourglass palettes? It just takes such a long time to get through these. You'd think that I'd never used my Evil Eye palette when I absolutely have. But no matter how many times I've used it, it just doesn't put a dent in it. So just building up this shade, which again is Eternal Bronze. And this is described as a warm matte bronze. I actually wanted to try this brush with the bronzer. This is the Morphe M240 Sculpt brush. I'm going to try this for bronzer. It's a powder brush, but it's slightly angled. Can you see that? Crazy. Yeah, really nice. These brushes are so lovely. These dual-ended Morphe brushes, so good. So yeah, this cost me €83. However, I had to pay for shipping. And I can't remember paying for shipping from Hourglass before. I wasn't very happy, so it cost me €89 in total. Cheeky. And I only have, obviously I've got my eyebrows done. I have concealer and foundation on. For foundation, I'm wearing the Makeup by Mario Natural Foundation. And for concealer, I'm wearing the Patrick Tar concealer. Now, I am going to use some of these on the eyes today. However, I think it is worth noting that it does say in the little leaflet that comes with it to avoid contact with eyes. Now, I don't know whether that means just avoid getting it into your eyes. There are some products that you are not supposed to put near your eyes, but I have used this on my eyes already, and I know a lot of us like to get use out of our products and use them multifunctionally. I'm going to take a Refa 27 brush and go into that bronzer, and I'm just going to wash a little bit over the eye. I'm going to put all of these onto the eyes actually, apart from the finishing powder, because why not? Now this is warm and my blush is cool, so I'm hoping that they'll be fine together. The one thing I do really love about this palette is it does still print what you have chosen in your palette. I think that's really, really nice. It's a really nice added extra that they have printed what's in here. Lovely. Now we're going to go in with the blush, which is, again, Rose Fusion, which is a cool mauve. So I'm going to take my Morphe M160 dual-ended brush, and I'm going to pop in with the fluffy bit and just start building. I think these are just the most beautiful blushes. Now I'm going to put quite a bit on, okay, so that you can see it. So we're going blush blindness today. These are super long lasting. I mean, I'm used to wearing creams and liquids, and you don't get the same longevity that you do with a powder, of course. But I'm never really the biggest fan of powder blushes because I feel like with my dry skin, they do emphasize my texture, and yeah, I do feel like they emphasize my dry skin and my fine lines and wrinkles. I don't want that. But these, there's something different about these. They are extremely, very smoothing and very blurring on the skin as well. Even though I would say that there is a bit of a satin finish to these. products. I don't think that they are fully matte, but I think that that just brings a little bit of life to them. And again, I'll pop my skin information on the screen. It's always listed in the description box, but I've got light to medium skin. I'm at my lightest stage now because we're coming out of the winter, but I also have neutral olive skin as well. So this is just going to show you how that looks. I'm just going to take a BK Beauty 202 brush and I'm going to go into the blush Rose Fusion, and I'm just going to take some on the lid and just a little bit into the crease. See how effortlessly that blends. It's so nice. That's so nice. As much as I do love these Hourglass palettes, I don't think I'm ever going to be that person that purchases every single release, because I would just feel guilty about it sitting there. You know, obviously me having this channel, I have to be buying stuff and reviewing things, and it just wouldn't get the love that it deserves. So there you are, very soft, very pretty on the eyes. Love that. Think it's so pretty. So now we're going to go into the strobe powder, which is Celestial Strobe Light, which is described as a golden champagne. So for this, I'm going to use the other end of my Morphe M160 brush, and I'm just going to go lightly into this. Now this is fairly pigmented, and I'm just going to brush it across the cheeks. So nice. So pretty. It's so buildable. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, I took a big hiatus from highlighter because my rosacea has been kicking off. And you know what? Taking that break was the best thing for me, because you know, if I've got my rosacea going on, I don't want to be emphasizing it with highlighter. But guess what? I'm back on the highlighter train. Look at that. Isn't that just absolutely stunning? My best advice when putting on this highlighter is to just brush gently, and it will just build up that intensity. I'm actually going to take a little eyeshadow brush. This is just a BK Beauty A502, and I'm going to go into that highlighter really gently, and I'm just going to brush a little bit in the center of my eye, just ever so slightly. Yeah, it's probably better when you're doing something like this just to go in with your finger. So last but not least, I'm going in with this finishing powder. This is diffused light, and you can buy this individually. This is stunning. I know some people do not rate their finishing powders. These are absolutely amazing. One of my favorite things in the palette, genuinely. Finishing powder. It basically is what it says. It's the finishing touch to your makeup. It just gives such a blurred and filtered look to the skin. Now, it's not the same as a setting powder, really, so it's not designed to help with the longevity of your makeup. So rather than mattify the skin, these are designed to give more of a diffused, soft focus effect to the skin. Super filtering, and this is stunning. This is actually a finishing powder that I would wear under my eyes. I wore this yesterday under my eyes. Couldn't believe how insanely beautiful it looked. So sometimes you have to be careful with finishing powders because they can be very luminous. So for example, Morphe have an absolutely beautiful one, but it is fairly luminous, much more luminous than the Hourglass, because I've looked at them side by side. I think this is such a unique formula. I really don't know if this one can be fully duped. So I'm going in with a Morphe M164 brush. So I've just loaded that up a little bit, and I'm going to take it just under my eyes. Just brushing it over the rest of my face. You can also go in with a bigger brush. I love this brush. This is Real Techniques Ultimate Powder Brush. It's so fluffy and amazing. And you can just pop it all over the face like this, and you're going to get a much more softer finish. Oh, and then I'm going to take a Morphe M383, just a little pencil brush. I'm going to go into the highlighter and just go into the inner corner here. Okay, so that's how we are looking so far. I'm just going to go and finish off the rest of my makeup. So a bit of mascara and a bit of lippy, and we'll be back to chat about my final thoughts on this. Okay, so let's have a little chat about whether I really do think that these quads are worth it, or whether getting a custom palette is worth it. And honestly, the answer to both of those questions is yes. I really do think that these are absolutely fantastic formulas. And I said this back in 2024 when I reviewed my very first ever Hourglass Ambient lighting palette. I do think there's something really special about these formulas. I would definitely describe myself as more of a powder hater. I have dry skin, I have maturing skin, I'm almost 44 now, and I just find that creams and liquids are much more flattering. However, there's something about these formulas that they don't feel powdery, they don't look powdery, they don't look lifeless on the skin. They really do bring the skin to life. And the fact that now there is sometimes the opportunity to customize your quad, I feel like it makes it even more special. Just knowing that I chose every single shade in here, that this is what I wanted, I know I will get use out of this. I prefer the quads to these original palettes because they're smaller. I don't feel as overwhelmed with it. I know that this is going to be something that I'm going to be reaching for regularly. I do want to be really real with you. It's not going to change your life if you get yourself your first Hourglass palette. It's not going to make you look like a filter, because look at my skin. You know, I'm wearing a beautiful highlighter, but you can still see my texture. This isn't going to make you look like a filtered image from a magazine, but what it is going to do is give you a really flawless finish. It's going to be really easy to work with and not overwhelming because they're not super duper pigmented. They're very buildable, they're very user-friendly, very beginner-friendly, and I really am happy that I got this. I can only give you my opinion as somebody who I believe is fairly objective when it comes to Hourglass. Do I think this is worth it? Yes. Do I think it's worth it to get your own customized quad? Absolutely. And I'm really glad that I waited a couple of years to purchase another palette, and I promise I'm going to use this one much more than I use my other ambient lighting holiday palette. Yeah, I'm really happy with my purchase, but I have a suspicion that you are going to be waiting until the holidays, till Christmas time, before you get another opportunity to customize. But I'm sure that you will get the opportunity again. And if you do get the opportunity, I do think they're worth it. So please do let me know, are you an Hourglass collector? Did you get to customize your own quad this year? Or are you running a million miles from Hourglass? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.